Lady Val here, and I'm back today, as I promised, to do a quick flip through of my Field Notes notebook. This little notebook is part of a year-long collaboration with Junk Journal Fixed with Sunflower and Doors. It's called Curator's Cabinet. And each month there is going to be a theme, and then there will be prompts for weeks 1, 2, and 3. And then week 4 is catch up. So that's what I had to do this month because I was doing my design team project during the first 3 weeks of the month, and then I caught up this last week. So this is my project, and the week 1, the theme was the Foundational Curations, and week 1 was to curate and use old book pages, dictionaries, and literary text in a journal spread. Week 2 was gather and create ledger paper receipts and invoices. And week 3 was incorporate pressed flowers, dried leaves, or tiny twigs into your project. So after hearing that, this is what I did for my project. Little Field Notes notebook. What I gathered, I had lots of old book pages and dictionary pages. I have this huge old dictionary that is literally about 6 inches high, and it's, I've just scratched the surface on using the dictionary pages, and it's a quite old one, and I will never get through it in a lifetime, but I have that, and then I have an old book with very old pages that I use, and I had ledger paper which I dug out of my stash, and I also went through my scrap box and pulled out pages, scraps from past projects that I had participated in Mandy's group, and there's probably other things in there too that just got mixed in. So that's what I used to make this little notebook. So basically this little notebook is what it is, what it says, Field Notes. And the closure is a simple little clip. And when you open this little booklet, the first page inside I lined with the ledger paper that I was talking about. And I used some stamps. I have a script stamp on here. I have a name stamp, or signature stamp really. And more numbers down the side, numbers over here, and then just to add some interest, I put some of the little approved stamps, past stamps, etc. in colors just to bring out, some fun. And then all of these pages are simply decorated with the different elements that I pulled out. These are all my tags are for journaling on the back. Some of the pages I put tabs on. And then this page is decorated with one of those dictionary pages I was talking about. And then I pulled out these, entomology bits and pieces that I had. Now this gold that you will see throughout my journal, you may have seen it in my post yesterday, which I posted all of the things that I was using for the journal. This comes from, it was a nice round circle. It's gold, but I took my alcohol inks in the browns. I used cocoa and I used spice to add some interest on the gold and tone it down just a bit. But this comes from, if anybody's familiar with Terry's chocolate orange oranges. They are just wonderful. My husband is British, so we go down to World Market in Redlands, which is about an hour drive from us, a few times a year, so he can stock up on some of the things he misses that he can get there that we can't get in a regular supermarket. So we went at Christmas time, so oh my gosh, they just had, you name it, they had all these wonderful things. So we got, one of those Terry's chocolate oranges, and actually we just had it a little bit ago. We tried to space everything out that we bought, so. Anyway, going forward with the gold, you will see the gold little bits that I put throughout the journal that I used from that foil wrapping. And then I also I fussy cut out some moths and things that I downloaded. And this is part of mine, and you'll see this throughout here too. I made some handmade paper that I showed in a previous video, where I did some tea dyeing and coffee dyeing, and then I did some stamping and accenting with different things. So the next page is again another piece of ledger paper, and I did some script stamping on here. Put a little label up there and another moth there. And then these pages are just pretty self-explanatory. I just put a label on there with a little bit of lace. The next page is ladybugs. So we have a ladybug tag, and I just accented this with not only the gold foil, but I had some red burlap that I put on there and a little metallic ladybug. And this little insert was from one of Mandy's other collaborations, which was a detective story, which was a lot of fun. The White Rose Detectives, agency. So that was a lot of fun. Okay, the next page, this was my, adding dried flowers. Mandy had given us a freebie that had different flowers on it, and I used her rose. I cut out the rose and glued it down to the backing, which is the book page here. And then I glued the rose petals on here from roses that my daughter sent me at some point that I had dried. They're purple, you can't really tell, because I had painted both the petals with, the leaves with green metallic with gold over gold highlights, and the petals with gold metallic. But that was too bright, so I toned it down with some vintage photo ink, and then I just highlighted it with some gold ink pen. So that's the rose. And going on, I also had this wonderful butterfly that I wanted to use as a center fold. And the backing that I used for this, I had used some of the book page on that I put some white gesso, stamped it with a little bit of script stamps and background stamps and some number stamps. And then I put some stickle down the middle so it would actually hide the fold. And it dried nicely, and it doesn't really, when you fold it, the stickles stay on there. None have come off, so that worked out. And the next page is some more of my homemade paper and the gold foiling as decoration, and some more tags for journaling that I had backed. Another little 3D moth that I fussy cut. Then this was one of the other flowers. I'm not sure if they're daisies. That's what I called them. They may have been another type of flower, and I apologize because I am not familiar with all types of flowers. And again, I used the rose leaves to follow the outline of the leaves on the cutout. Painted them with the green metallic with gold over top again. The daisy, or whatever kind of flower that was, I had white and I had purple, but I didn't have enough of either, so I combined the two. I started with white. I put the purple on top because I had more of that. And then I did do gold highlights on each one of the petals. And then I did a few of the purple petals falling. So that was my week 3 contribution into the little folder. And then this is just some more labels that I had used to decorate that page. Have a couple of labels. Here's my foiling. I used a tea bag, piece of a tea bag, and some of my handmade paper. This also was cut out of my handmade paper with the extra large whale tail tab, and that does kind of stick out the top there. of the journal. This one does have a tab on it. And again, this is just a journaling card that's folded in half. Have a little label on there. Another decorated page. This is a dictionary page that actually had butterflies on it, so I made that part of the spread here, using more of a gold file tea bag for interest and texture. This is kind of our beetle page. I did put a dragonfly down here, but most of them are beetles, including the little. Ooh, my goodness. It's stuck in there. I must have glued it in. I'm going to have to get that off. Can't believe I did that. And that's it. That's the end. Oh no, there's one more. I almost missed a page. Here's the butterflies, and this is another piece of the homemade paper that I did. I put, actually it's clear texture paste on it, and it made this little brick-like, texture on there, and then I used alcohol inks, and just to give it a little bit of interest, and I was doing a demonstration on how to do that, so I used that piece in here. So that is truly the end of the journal. So I really appreciate you being here and looking through my journal with me. It was a lot of fun making this, and I'm going to try to keep up each month. We'll see how that goes, because I also have a design team project each month. But I will post as much as I can. I don't do a lot of tutorials because I'm not that good at preparing ahead of time. I kind of design as I go, actually, is how it is, and sometimes I have to get up and run and get things, and that wouldn't lend to a very good video. I don't have the ability to do much editing as yet. So anyway, thank you for joining me. If you liked anything you see here, please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. I would greatly appreciate that, and have a very nice evening, morning, or afternoon, wherever you may be. Thank you, and take care. Bye.